Congress needs to be recalibrating the funding here. And maybe it's time that Congress threatens to withhold all of the nearly $100 billion of funding to the Department of Transportation until Biden finds somebody a little bit more competent. Well, joining us now is Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde, also a member of the House Appropriations Committee. It kind of sits on some of the things like this. So, Congressman, it's kind of interesting. Do you think it's worthy of deleting the budget until they can put somebody in there who can do the job?
Agree with you. And yeah, I think that's probably a great idea. The more we can delete from the federal budget, the better I think our country is going to be. I mean, this is just stunning failure by the Transportation Secretary Buttigieg. I mean, he has shown time and time again that he is incompetent, failure after failure. And so it's time for a change.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, look, a couple months ago, the American people were like, hey, let's hand the reins back over to the Republicans. Maybe they should slam on the brakes and do a U-turn on how the money is being spent. Have you gotten the impression, though, from the Biden administration that they want to do any part in working with you on that?
No, the Biden administration doesn't really want to work with us at all, but they're going to be forced to work with us. This debt ceiling that we're going to move forward is going to be with conditions on it, and those conditions are going to help put our country back on track. It's the right thing to do. We need fiscal responsibility and financial integrity in our government. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get on the Appropriations Committee just to slow walk the financial ruin of our country. That's not what I'm doing. We are going to we're going to save our country financially here.
Sure. You had an interesting hearing on Capitol Hill where Miguel Cardona couldn't answer a very simple question. I want to take a look at what you said.
Can you please define for me, what is a woman?
Our focus at the department is to provide equal access to students, including students who are LGBTQ, access free from discrimination.
Okay, so what's the definition of a woman? You haven't given me that. You haven't answered my question.
I think that's almost secondary to the important role that I have as Secretary of Education.
So let me get this straight. They want to award a bunch of stuff and give a bunch of people medals for being or pretending to be women, but they can't define what it is?
Well, that's exactly why I asked the question. Here we have Title IX, which protects women's sports. Well, in order to do that, you have to be able to define what a woman is. And they have not been able to do that. So that's a problem for them. And I wanted to point that out because, it's so critical that we do not allow transgender women, truly biological males, to participate in women's sports. It is dangerous for women, both in the locker room, in the bathroom, and then on the field as well. So, or whatever the sport might be. So we need to protect that for women and not allow biological males who are just naturally physically stronger. I mean, just look at the swimming competition. A guy that wouldn't even rank in the top 400 in male swimming, he wins the female race.
To be fair, Congressman, I think he was 398 in one of those competitions.
Okay, 398.
Yeah, you know what? That's another one for the delete button on the funding for that guy if he can't define that. Congressman, we appreciate your time. Always a pleasure.
Carl, thank you. Appreciate it.